All right, you beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. We have such a special one today. We have the incredible waterman, Nico Lebris, who's grew up in Brittany, France. He is literally a waterman, true and true, when it comes to wing foiling, kite surfing, prone foiling, you name it. This dude's in the water, enjoying life. Even better, we're going to just shine it a little bit better here. This is one of Gwen's dear friends. They grew up, they're like best buddies, and Gwen got to travel the world in the United States. Now he's in Europe right now with his best bud, Nico, and they're traveling around on a Europe Cabrini tour right now. And so we're super lucky to have Nico on the show because we're going to go over differences between US and Europe and kind of trends that are happening, and dive a little bit more in with Nico. So, Nico, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's very nice. I thank you again. It's an honor for me to be on you
The
on
Gwen and Damo
your
show.
Gwen and Damo show for me.
It's kind of a big step in anybody's career.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been watching you guys, and now I'm on it. It's just like
This is where stardom happens. Yeah. At least, you could maybe get a job down the road or something. That's usually what it does.
Sounds good to me.
Sparks you to get to there. Yeah.
Yeah, we are here in Ile de Ré, which is kind of I would say, I don't know, maybe like halfway France on the west coast. It's an island that you can drive. There is a bridge. So yeah, we started in Brittany, and about like a week ago, making our way down. And so far it's been a pretty cool ride, and I'm very excited that Nico is the one running the show on the tour, on the Euro tour. I did the US tour last year, and it's pretty incredible that Nico is doing the Euro tour this year. So it's awesome.
I love it, man. So if we were to have a fight right now, who would win between you two?
I don't know. I can mention maybe not the last session, but the one before.
Well, the reason he's speaking is because the last session it didn't go in his favor.
No, definitely. What happened was we were on a 5 meter wing, and then it was not enough wind for him. So I just came to rescue him with my 6 meter, and then we just changed, and I shouldn't have done that because afterwards I was like kind of in a
Well, at least the full rescue was there. So you were putting in your best effort. For all those listening in, this is what you do. If you see somebody in need in the water, you go help them no matter what. Even if you join them in the water, 2 in the water is better than 1.
Definitely.
I was fine after that.
Yeah, of course.
And then I was doing loops around Nico, and I was saying like, I love that wing.
But yeah, to answer your question, actually, I think Gwen got pretty fit the last months thanks to winging. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he would win. Maybe.
Well, I know that would never happen, but all right. So let's get into it. So, as you guys are doing this tour, and it's the start of the tour, but I had some questions, kind of just trends that you've been in France, you've been working in France. Are you guys seeing? So the 2 questions I really wanted to ask and just get this thing started was inflatable boards. Are you seeing a lot of inflatable boards? Is it something that people are talking about? Are a lot of people using them? To me, that's one of the biggest questions we get. And I don't see many in the United States. I'm not saying that people aren't using them. I've actually, Gwen and I get a lot of comments saying that, I like it. I use it. It's great. Lots of volume. But I was just curious on, are you seeing more of that in Europe versus the US?
For my part, like in France, I don't see a lot of them. I see some, but it's not many, but compared to US, I don't know.
I think there is something about here which like the brand Gong is very
is it everywhere. A French brand? Is Gong French?
Yeah. So we were actually the spot before. Now we are on Ile de Ré. Before we were in La Baule near Nantes, and that's where Gong is from. So
gotcha.
It's a very local brand, and you definitely see a lot of Gong product on the water. And I think Gong was one of the early brand to have
Inflatable, for sure.
inflatable wing bone. So
Yeah.
to me, I definitely maybe see a bit more of that here than we've seen in the US for sure.
Gotcha. And then my next question is leashes. Are you seeing people wrist leash, waist leash, neck leash? What are people using?
So, well,
I think the necklace is definitely the best.
Definitely, yeah. That's the popular one.
did you know? Because I feel like I haven't seen anybody with waist leash here, and to me, I feel like the reason is the French, at least in France, the French like culture is, I would say, for the most part, pretty minimal in a way that like we use the leash that comes with the wing.
Yep.
And in the US, sometimes I feel like it's more like, you want to get the fancy, accessories.
Yeah.
In France, I feel like people don't really go out of their way. If they buy a wing, they use the leash that comes with it unless it breaks.
Interesting.
And so most of the time, the leash that comes with it is the wrist leash, and that's why I have not seen any. And have you seen like on the spot, or did you even like know about?
Yeah, I mean, I saw some waist leash, but
Mhm.
which are meant for the board. It's a board
Yep.
leash for the
Yep.
waist. So
Yep.
I've seen some like at least when the wing has actually started. But now I would say I see them less and less. Yeah,
Interesting.
so I do believe that it's mainly like the wing attached to the wrist,
Yep.
and then the board attached to the foot. That's the main thing here. Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. That's a good. I just thought it'd like be everybody with waist leashes there or something. I don't know. I just
Well,
feel like
I mean,
that's where it's going, but I don't
to
know.
me, it could change if brands start to offer at least an option.
Yeah.
Like when you order your wing, maybe you could choose between wrist leash or waist leash.
Yeah.
I think that would help promote or like get more waist leash out.
Yeah.
But I really don't think it's like in a culture of like buying a wing that comes with a leash, but you're gonna go buy another leash because you think it's better. I think most people are gonna be like, you know what, this leash works, I'm gonna use it. So until it changes and the wing comes with a waist leash, or at least the option to have a waist leash coming with it, I think we will always see like more like wrist leash, especially in France. I think that's more like
definitely.
Well, here's a funny story, and I'll be quick, and then we'll get into more questions. But I thought this was pretty unique. But this is a long time ago, but I was racing in Lacotte, Port St. Louis, and big race, distance race, couple miles around some buoys, and we were on course boards back in the day. And I had won the first race, I think, 100+ people. Second race, I was like top 2 or 3 or something like that. Or maybe in the lead. I kind of just remember I was in the front. And then the next race, I remember one French guy taking out a foil, hundreds of people, one guy, and he went by me on like when we rounded the buoy, and he literally looked like he was eating a sandwich and he was chilling out, and I'm like flexing every muscle, dying, like just hanging on to dear life to win this thing. And he went by me on a foil. This is years ago. I mean, I'm talking, this is the start of foiling. And I'll never forget it because that was when I sparked the idea. So then the next race, there was 3 guys on foils. The next race, 5 guys on foils. And what had changed was the angle was easier for them to just cruise at about the same speed, but they didn't have to try hard on the angles that a foil could make. Now, this is a long time ago when this is the beginning of the foil movement, sort of. And that's where it sparked with me. I was in France and I saw that when I was racing and was like, there's something to this. And so I came back to the States, and that's when I met up with Lift Foils down in Puerto Rico, Nick Leeson. And that's kind of when we made the big push in the United States for foils to go on kites and then turned into SUPs and all these things. But I just thought it was really unique because to me, it all started in ports in Lacotte. What is the one where it's blowing straight offshore, flat water, mega event? Is that Port St. Louis?
That's
I think it's Lacotte. It's Lacotte. it's
Look at,
big
yeah, I
event.
think that's
Yeah,
where
big
either
event.
if you win,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it started. I swear to you, one dude on a foil went by us. He won the thing. Then the next race, there was 3 guys on foils. Those 3 were in the front, and that's kind of like, and so I'm giving. I guess I'm I want to say it, but I truly believe that the French was all they were. Not saying people weren't playing with foils around the world. It's been around for a long time, but I would say they were always on that cutting edge, and that's when it sparked my interest 1,000,000,000% and said there's something to this, and came back to the States and met up with Liv Foils and Nick, and it went gangbusters. So pretty exciting. But
yeah, I feel like the level here is pretty high. I mean, even in like winging, we see a lot more young riders. Like yesterday,
compared to the US,
oh yeah. I mean, in the US,
Yeah, definitely.
it's great, but it's the average age is 60, and then here maybe it's more like 40, and we do see a lot more young riders. So yesterday, during the demo here, we had 2 like 15 years old, or
Yeah, maybe even
13 maybe.
13. Yeah,
Yeah.
13 years old.
wow, that is so cool.
like
good.
doing like
Mm.
flacas and stuff, like
I feel like they learn. I see all these kids doing all these tricks like with no effort, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Yeah.
you know,
yeah, and it was light wind. The he's on the 4 when everybody's struggling on the 6. So it's the level is pretty high here. There's a lot more people riding, and I think that momentum of like having more people on the water, higher level, it's just bringing everybody up, and you definitely see it when you show up to the spot. People know what they know what they are talking about for sure.
I love it. My next question that I thought would just be a little bit interesting, and maybe it's a little far fetched because winging's getting started newer, but mine was quiver. So in kiting or windsurfing, you always had like 100 sails or 2 or 3 wings, 2 or 3 kites. Are you seeing people having like 2 wings, or they just got 1 wing and they just jam and that's what it is?
No, I would say like most of the riders here, they do have at least 2 wings.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess some just have 1, but the wind condition in France can be like very light to very stormy as well.
Yeah, so you gotta have both. Yeah.
you definitely need like at least 2 wings, definitely.
And
Yeah.
what are the popular sizes? We'll call. Is it similar to the US where it's like 6s and 3s and 4s or something like that, or is it like bigger wings? Or
I would say like the most popular is like 4, 5, 6,
Mhm.
definitely, and
Mhm.
then maybe into winter like 3 meters. But yeah, the most popular is the 5, and then so I guess it's quite similar
Similar.
than the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's cold everywhere. I mean, France do have like Martinique, Guadeloupe, but in France, the mainland, on the entire country, it's cold in the winter. So that also, there is less people riding in the winter, but the one that do, they are like very dedicated, and
Yeah.
and it kind of like it shows in their level, again, so.
But the
when
new
you-
thing is that like cold plunges, right? So people are just riding without wetsuits and it's like snowing out, and then that's like part of that cold plunge to make sure your body's really good. So is that what
No,
the
I mean,
wingers are doing?
it's very popular to do the like early January to do a cold plunge. Not like going winging, just you go, you jump, you celebrate, whatever. But actually, yesterday we went with no wetsuit, and
It was okay.
and it was great. As long as you keep moving, and we kept it short, so it was good. I mean,
That's
Nico
awesome.
spent more time in the water yesterday. I was riding the entire time, but
Yeah. It's
This is
good.
not true. He was in the water at first. Then I came to rescue him again. Remember what I said? And then he was, flying thanks to me.
I love it. I love it. That's true support, everybody out there. Look, it's Wednesday. It's the start of a Wednesday. Some of you guys in Europe, obviously, it's midday, and we just want to say thank you guys for all the support and following along this ride that we do on, Gwen and I and Nico here. This is just look, we're trying to stoke people out, motivate you, give you a little info on wing foiling, kite foiling, prone foiling, whatever it is. This is why we're doing this, to just inspire people and motivate people and live your best life, because world's an interesting place right now, but you still got to enjoy life and do your best. Always put your best foot forward, and that's it. So where's your guys' next stop now on this big Cabrini tour?
Just right before that,
Yeah.
from what you said right now, I really want to say that you guys have been very inspiring to me. That thanks to you, it was easier for me, to choose the right board, the right wing board, and then for some tricks, definitely thanks to you, my first flaka was like a success, and no, I really wanted to thank you because, like, yeah, you have been really inspiring, and this is what you both are, like inspired people and just inspiring others. That's very nice, and I really want to thank you for that.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, we need you. Gwen will be filming you to get the backflip because we're still working on that one. So one day we'll get that.
One day, give me some time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Gwen, you got to capture Nico doing the flip, and we'll go through the analysis.
So yeah, to answer your next question, right now we are on Ile de Ré. Then the next stop is in Lacanau. Lacanau, next to Bordeaux, and then there is two huge lakes, and then we will do a demo on Friday on the upper one, and then on Saturday on the one under it. So yeah, that's gonna be nice again.
Yeah, we basically like follow the coast. So again, started in Brittany. We are on the west coast, so we are going down the west coast of France. Then it will be basically Spain, Portugal, back to Spain, back to France, then small part of Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, UK.
Wow.
Back to France.
North, yeah.
And so it's quite a journey. I will be gone in 10 days. In 3 weeks. I will be gone. So Nico is gonna do the entire thing, but riders will be joining him.
Cool.
So far with scheduled to come join you.
Who is gonna come?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like kind of official yet, but
it's big news, guys.
But I don't know. It's just like Andrea will come.
Andrea, young rider.
Yeah.
He lives in Maui.
Cool.
I don't know if you
He
have
rips.
seen him.
Absolutely rips. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
So he
will join me, like, I guess, in part of France and then Italy, and then Kiai will be with me as well.
Nice.
I don't know exactly for how long, but it's gonna be for quite a bit. And then we have riders like up north, Annelus, that will be riding in her country, and then I think there will be some more as well.
Very cool.
So some really, really good riders are going to be joining during the tour. So that will be pretty awesome. We had Theo in Brittany, and people are always very excited to be able to get tips from riders, see them riding. For some reason they are not very satisfied when they see us riding, so they need Kiahi.
He's a legend. I love Teo. He's a great human. Shout out to Teo and his family. Great people. All right, so let's go into a little more questions that I think pop up a lot, and that is high aspect. Are you guys seeing a lot of high aspect? Is that kind of what the trend is over there, or is it just kind of any foil getting going?
No, definitely. When people actually come on the demos, they're really asking for that, and so most of them are actually very, very happy with their experience with trying high aspect.
Yeah,
I think it's really like such a great evolution in the sport of winging and foiling. This is definitely something huge.
Yeah, and the Cabrina, like 800, 1000 is something that people are asking a lot to try. It seems like For in France right now, maybe it's kind of like harder for them to get it than it is for us in the US. So people are like very excited when they get to try the 1,000 and the 800. Yesterday again, like you see everybody coming out of the water after trying it is like super excited.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I was the one big question, because it is colder, it's a colder, it's not like not necessarily tropical, but it's the colder conditions. Are you guys seeing more people using booms or handles on the wings, or does that matter with gloves? Call it winter. I was just kind of thinking, like, colder situation, colder areas. Are you seeing more people wanting to use like kind of boom style wings or handle wings? And then the other one would be windows and non-windows. I was just kind of curious to see if there was a difference there.
I would say like maybe the thing with the boom is like usually it's aluminium, and then when it's cold, the aluminium is even colder. So I would say like this, but with the gloves, I don't know. I haven't been trying like both. I only had like handles kite, so handles wings. So I'm not sure about that actually. I've seen both, like on the water, definitely, even during the winter. So I don't know about that.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
preference of the person just trying whether they came off windsurfing or not. Maybe.
Well, actually, we haven't. Since I've been here. I don't think I've seen any boom.
Yeah, there was one yesterday.
I feel like booms. Maybe we see more like older riders using boom that maybe are like come from like windsurfing, and they just like that feel, that kind of like like they are like familiar with from windsurfing. But for the most part, I would say it's like, again, I have like maybe there was one yesterday. I don't think I've seen one boom here, so it's definitely the handles are the most popular
of the trend. What are you guys seeing? Still a lot of windsurfers on the water, or is everybody kind of transitioning?
I would say it really depends of the places and the spots. On many spots, I guess there is more and more wings that taking over windsurfing. But on some spots, like the windsurfing is so huge, and it will stay that way. Because it's really like a spot which is kind of dedicated to it and which is perfect for it. But like mainly, I would say that the wing, there is more and more wings, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, during the Défi Wind in France this year, I think it was open to the windsurfing, which is how the Défi Wind started, but also the kiting and the winging. So I think the windsurfing event, they had like 1,200 windsurfers participating. It was huge. If you have seen some footage, drone footage of like the start, it was just madness. And on the wing, it was like just over 100. So
it's new.
So windsurfing in Europe is still going really strong. Even though the wing is definitely growing a lot. Windsurfing is I mean, I don't know, like the fact that you can organize an event and have
1,200 people,
over 1,000 in any sport, like in any water sport, would be huge.
No, that's mind-blowing. That's wild. That's awesome.
So I think it really depends on the spot, but winging is maybe a bit more spread out, where like windsurfing has like very specific spots. Winging, you see it everywhere,
anywhere. People just going out. And Nico, a little background, I'm just kind of curious. So obviously you're big, surf foiler, surfer, kiter, you name it. If somebody's listening to this conversation and they're like, struggling, or they're like questioning, should I even get into water sports? I know nothing about it, whether it's kiting or windsurfing or, winging or anything, prone foiling, or just just thinking about doing it. Like, what's your mentality of like what's inspired you to do all these things? What would be like that little message you could share with that person who's kind of just sitting there going, I really want to do this, but maybe I'm not as fit. I'm overweight. I don't want to be judged. I don't know. That's those are those fears that people have. I'd just be curious to see what would be your kind of
Mm.
like your message to that person.
I would say, like I usually say, whatever will happen when you go into the water, even if it's like you will fall all the time, or the wind is not strong enough, or whatever. It's always good to be in the water anyway. Uh, I'm a trained nurse, and I think that to avoid many diseases and such, it's so good to be like in the water, no matter what. The weather is great for you for many reasons. Just the fact that you are moving, doing some sport, and the fact that you are like under the sunlight, not like on a closed environment. Yeah, I would say like no matter what happens, it will always be good for you to be in the water anyway. So just go there, do what you can, do what you want, and it can only be good for you. So that's definitely the main thing here, because some people are just saying sometimes, oh, I don't know if the wind is strong enough, maybe I will stay here or whatever. Just be there, and even if the session is not great, every time you go in the water you improve. You improve your level, you improve your abilities, your balance. Yeah. So yeah, whatever you are thinking, whatever you are doubting of, you should just go there, and then you will see. So yeah, just be in the water, and it will be great anyway.
For
I
you,
love
like,
it.
what
Yeah.
what how did you get into water sports? What was like the first thing, and what was the appeal?
Who, me?
No,
Oh
no.
no, Nico. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the thing was, I started with skateboarding. Like that's how I got into the riding sports. And I did a lot of skateboarding, like yeah, many years since I was young. And then I had that friend in high school. Just like he was a huge surfer, and I was just like, yeah, this is the thing. I was just like, yeah, I don't know, I love skateboarding. And once I went with him, and yeah, instantly I just like, wow, this is huge. This is really a thing. And so that's how I got into surfing. Then then I really loved it, so I was spending like most of my time at the beach. And then I got into kiting, and then I got into windsurfing as well, and then winging, and then and the best you get in one of the sports, the best you are on the other. So it's just like a very good circle. So yeah.
I love that you said so. The question started with sort of, if somebody's on the fence to do something, what would you share with them? And you're like, just go to the water, just see whatever the conditions are, just go. And what I loved is, your surfer friend, we'll call it, who you went with him, and he kind of showed you that, like, hey, this is surfing. I was a skateboarder. This is it now. I think this is a good message for everybody out there, because it's like there's no perfect way, but if you don't go, you'll never have that potential new life changing experience, we'll call it. And I'm not saying that when you start wing foiling or kiting, it's going to change your life, but there's no question, being in the sun, being on the beach, even if the wind doesn't blow, all of a sudden there's this energy of just natural, our world. And it's a whole lot better than sitting inside. And I think it'll pull, lift your spirits and change the way you think about stuff and clear your brain and mentally just put you in a better place. And I think, that's exactly what you're saying. And don't be afraid to say yes to go to the beach with somebody that maybe you don't really know, or, they're like, hey, come with us, and, that's always a nervous thing to do. But if you don't go, you don't know. And
Definitely.
you can always have a bad experience, yes, but you could have the most magical experience ever. And I think, anything I've ever done in life, if you just kind of go along with the flow and just give it a shot, usually those open up into some pretty magical moments. So, well said. That was perfect. Gwen, anything to tap into that?
Well, I think what's really cool is, I feel like, today you can do so many things. You can surf, you can stand up paddle, you can kite, you can wing, you can foil, and all of these sports have very like evolved and made the learning curve like easier. And so I feel like that's the cool thing, is like it's maybe not it's pretty well, it's a welcoming like sport. No matter what sport you choose, there is gear that will be right for you as a beginner. So that's like,
It's achievable for anybody, really. You just gotta
yeah,
make an effort to do it. Yeah.
not too scary. I mean, you've told the story of how you started like kiting quite a few times on the show, and it's like that's how it was. And if it was still like that today,
Oh, it'd be over.
I mean, people would like, you know,
But this is another good point that that I think is good for people to know, because this I've been through as well, and I just think it's good to point out. And it's kind of on this topic, but let's just take SUP. Okay, somebody can go out and paddle a board and have a nice experience, but maybe you're not going fast enough. You're going in a straight line. You're only paddling this little area. There's always different opportunities in any sport you're doing. And what I mean by that is, sure, I can paddle, I can go SUP. I also could paddle to the island and maybe have lunch. I also could paddle, throw my dive gear on, paddle over to the place and dive and do some snorkeling. Let's take kiting. I could go back and forth on this beach, but I could maybe take this adventure and go downwind or go upwind or go on this crossing or try to cross this island or do these things. There's always more you can add to things. It's just using your kind of just thinking about things and saying, what could be this adventure? What could be this next, new experience? It's the same with wing foiling. It's like I can wing foil and work on some flockas. I could ride some waves, or I could ride bigger waves. Maybe I could go try a river and ride on this little wave on a river. There's so much opportunity. I could go ride a tanker wave. There's always like more steps. And I think a lot of times people get caught in doing that same repetition over and over and over. Nothing wrong with that as long as you're happy. But there's always more to things and more things you can learn if you just kind of like open it up and take it all in. And I always like to kind of say that, because it's like, it's always better when you go like winging with your buddies, right? Because you're all, kind of sparking off each other. But I always look at like, people that maybe don't have that opportunity. Like you can always create a challenge for yourself, or try something new, or try something different, or go on that adventure. Or and same thing, wing foiling, you could go out and wing out to something, drop an anchor and dive a little spot, and now you had this crazy unique experience. And I like to plant that seed with people, because sometimes people get caught in, well, SUP, I just got burnt out. Sure, got it. It can be slow, but maybe it's time for you to take an SUP into a river in Montana and go spark it up a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be a little more exciting, So
yeah, there's so many ways to do it. And
Yeah.
and then yeah, like we see a lot of people like coming from the stand-up paddle into winging. Maybe some people from the stand-up paddle with pretty like low like adrenaline sport. If you don't do it in big waves or in draws,
Yeah.
if you do it just on flat water, it's pretty mellow. And maybe people that are attracted to that, maybe we're scared of kiting, and now they have a way to do it. So there's so many ways to do it that is adapted to your level of comfort that you want. And what's really cool, we just like recently like got into the dog start. So now not only you have so many sports, but you are not always dependent on condition. Like that's why we are so stoked with the dog start. Is like you can do it anytime. You just need, of course you need a dog and some water, but and it's a great workout. Like in 30 minutes, you are like totally toast. So now you can you don't have to go to a gym inside. I mean, people love going to the gym too, and that's great. But if you like the outdoors and you want something a bit like different, you have so many options. And I don't know, I feel like so lucky to be living in this time when we have access to all of that.
Yeah. And this brings up a perfect topic, because I know, Gwen and I were messaging each other before this, but So dock starts. Let's talk a little dock starts because I think this is a good message for a lot of people trying dock starts. There's a lot of people out there that like, man, I don't know if I can do this. And first off, I'd say dock starts are hard. You see all these young kids, they make it look like it's the easiest thing on the planet. But Gwen learned something valuable on wing sizes and what to choose for dock starting, and I thought Gwen could share that with everybody because it's a little different with volume on a board. Doesn't matter if you can stand on the thing. Sure, you can run off and just jump on whatever the volume is on the board. That's irrelevant. But foil size, Gwen, love to hear your
Well,
side on it.
here's the thing. When to me, like I'm surrounded by incredible riders. You, John Modica, Theo, Kiahi, Evan Nedge. So when I feel like this is the normal. So I see them like riding some like small foils, which to me now in my mind is like that's what you do. And so when we did dog starting, I was like pretty convinced that with the 1000 high aspect, it was going to be totally fine. It was like going easy. I mean, these guys always do it on the 800 or whatever. And it was impossible. And so it just put it into perspective of like, like, okay, if you always, like look at the pros, that, there is a huge gap. And so you need to like know that. And so actually, even yesterday, I think Balz Mueller posted a video on Instagram, a short explanation of how to dog start. And, it was like very simple. He was like, all you do is you do 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, you jump on the foil, you pump, and here you go. So that was about his explanation. It seems very simple. And when he did it, the 3 steps he took were like basically walking, and for us when we do it, we do 10 step and we sprint to try to get enough speed. And then I asked in the comment what foil he was using, and he was using for that example, he was using a 2400 square centimeters. So it's huge. And that kind of like even put it into perspective, and that's why like he was like taking very slow stepping on it and going. And for us, like we had zero chance with the 1000, zero chance. And not only we don't have our technique is pretty poor, and then we the gear doesn't help. So I would say for dog starting, don't you go big. Go really big. If you can get a 2000, it's gonna help so much.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. That's what I was kind of tapping on is, your smaller foils, you definitely want to be pretty big on dock starts. And we got a couple questions coming in from Fran here. Gear evolution and obviously radical changes with companies as you change from 2021 to 2022. Looks like some minor improvements, nothing radically new. This is always a good topic, and I think it's important, I would say, for people to know is, for a company to take like, let's just say a wing and then radically like redesign it, there's like a huge upside or downside, right? If you radically change something and it's not tested fully for years or for a while, could be a total nightmare, right? So most of the companies you see out there, they make minute changes sort of throughout the time, make the handle better, make the flutter less, make it a little less camber, more camber, a little more dehedral, a little less dehedral. And that's kind of how they slowly change to have like for instance with Cabrini, they have the switchblade that's been going forever, which is like the most amazing kite on the planet because it's just been so redefined for so many years that you don't just throw it out and try some crazy left hand, try this over here and see if it works. That does happen for sure, but I would say that's usually a lot of the changes I would say most companies do is just slow bettering that evolution of it.
I think even in the foils, I think we still see some pretty like significant improvements 1 year after the other at this stage.
Yeah.
And people, that's why like when we do a demo, people are like very surprised often, they try something and it's like it's drastically better. Where I mean, winging is still also fairly new. If you take a kite, you might not have the same impact because people have been riding maybe recent gear, and the change might not have been like that big. But in winging, we still see some pretty big improvements.
Foils
and,
for sure, big improvements
and
on foils. That's
and not only that, not only the gear, but we learn.
Yeah.
Like we learn about what is more appropriate, what is more fun to ride. So even if the gear itself has not changed that much, we use something different than before we were thinking that was not good or something. So that happens all the time. And the cool thing is, the most important is to try it. And
Yeah,
so
I agree.
when you can watch all of the videos and everything, but really try to go to your local shop, see if there is local demos
Yeah.
around where you are, and go try as much gear as you can to really know like what is good for you, what feels good, because it doesn't matter what the marketing thing is. If you like it, it's awesome.
And another question that came up. This is an awesome question, and I literally just got this question from somebody who bought a new foil thinking it would be much better. And let's go into this one. This one's really good. The Cabrini H Series 1000 doesn't feel like 1,000. Feels bigger. What other? Tell me what 1000 might. What another brand will call it. Why does it feel like a 1400 or 1500 of another brand? So on and so forth. Here's the best explanation I can give to this, and I think will help a ton of people out there. And that is, so just because there's a number on a foil, and this is people are gonna learn this, but it's kind of tricky to learn. But let's just say the Cabrini 1000, it's a thicker profile for a high aspect wing. And what I mean by that, it's not thick as in like really thick, but it's a rounder, more thicker leading edge. What that does is your stall speed, you're going to have more lift at a slower speed. So it's going to feel bigger because at a slower speed, it's going to have nice lift. Versus if that 1000 was a little bit thinner, that at a higher speed is going to actually, if it's even thinner, it's going to feel like it's less lift because at a slower speed, it's just going to drop because there's not enough lift happening. And so it's really hard these days to say, hey, I'm on this 1200, 1800, whatever, because every company has a different, we'll call it foil shape. And whether it's thicker or thinner, it makes a huge difference. This same question, the reason I'm bringing this up is a gentleman just messaged us saying, hey, I was riding a 1200 high aspect or medium aspect, and I was making my jibes and tacks, and then I got this 1450 or 1500 that was bigger, and I couldn't do anything. And the difference was he went lower aspect, which was slower and draggier, and he was struggling with the speed through the turn to make a jibe or to make attack, versus a medium aspect had a little bit more glide through the turn. But it's a really hard thing to pinpoint. But the Cabrini 1000 is a great wing because it has a little bit of a thicker profile, so it's gonna slower speeds. It's more user friendly, is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think people, and to me, I love it because it does feel like a bigger foil. It has the lift. It's a fairly easy foil to ride, but you can push it. You can go faster. You can. I mean, we went to this like amazing like 4 piers day with big waves. I was on the 1000, and I never felt like I was like going too slow, or it was too much drag, or I couldn't turn enough, or so I feel like you can push the foil so far, yet it's a fairly easy foil to ride from the beginning, and you can go slow with it. So to me, that's where like it's amazing. But now for a total beginner, which I sometimes we forget, and I put my wife on like the 1200. I was thinking it would be perfect for her. It was too fast for her. So even though you can ride it slow, it still goes fast. And sometimes if you're a total beginner, it might not be totally adapted for you. And so that's when maybe something a bit lower aspect with a bit more drag is really going to help you, like, be up on foil and get familiar with that feeling. And then only after you can go to something a bit faster, which is going to help you with transition. If you are at the point where you are riding no problem both direction, loving it, but you struggle in your jibes because you can't really quite make it, and you fall back on the water, maybe, like you said, something with a bit more glide is going to help you with that.
Yeah. And another question, JF just reached out, 12th ride yesterday, so congratulations, you're new to wing foiling. It's awesome. You have a 6'11", 140 liter board, 6-meter wing, and a foil. Should I invest in a smaller wing or a smaller board? I would say, it's a tricky one. I would say, if you're always getting overpowered, the simple solution would be a wing. You're probably going to have that wing in the future. But I would say, depending on your weight, it's hard to know everybody's weight. Boards right now, I would say around 5 foot are kind of the go-to. I'm not saying, 6'11" is bad, but the smaller the board, a little less volume is nice. But that's a good question. It just depends on how easy that board is feeling with you. If you're still struggling with staying on that board, I would stick with the board and go with the wing for sure.
Well, I feel like getting a smaller. So if what you want is to be able to go in
More conditions,
more wind, what's going to help for sure 100% is going to be a smaller wing.
Yeah.
Because if you still have your 6 meter and you go with, like right now you have 140 liters and you go to, like, let's say, 100 liters, you still have that wing, that 6 meters that is not going to feel good in strong wind. So if that is why you want to invest to be able to go in stronger wind, then 100% the first thing will be a second wing, a smaller wing. And then but if you are going to be riding in the same condition, your 6 meters is great and you just feel like it's too big, you are ready for something a bit more fun, a bit more maneuverable, then keep your 6, buy a smaller board, and you will go in the same condition. But a 6 in strong wind is never going to feel that great.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Very well said. Well, we blew past our time. We got to jump into our patron show. Nico, you're a total legend. So pumped for you to travel around the world and see the whole gang. Everybody follow along. Make sure to take a look at Nico. We'll put all his information in the description so you guys can follow along to join the tour. And we're going to jump into the Patreon show. For all those, it's just $5 a month to have coffee with us and share the stoke. And we're doing this for you guys out there. So if there's any videos you want to see or how-tos or anything that we can help with, we're here to do that for you. And hopefully we can answer some of your guys' questions to, better your life and enjoying this ride that we do. And on that note, Nico, thank you so much for being such a rock star.
Thank you so much to you guys. Once again, thanks a lot for your inspirations, and for everyone that's watching. Keep going into the water, keep trying, and for sure one day you will have a success. So just keep on going.
I love it. Gwen?
I mean, if you want to follow the tour, make sure to follow Cabrina on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We try to share a bit of where we are, the spot, people riding. But to me, what's the most amazing along this journey in this sport is the community. So everywhere we go, we meet the coolest people. Again, right now we are Ile de Ré, staying with some awesome an awesome couple, Clément and Sarah, and they are letting us in their house and showing us around. And
I'd be careful. Don't let those two in your house, but that's okay.
It just seems like everywhere we go, it's always super welcoming. So to me, that's another reason why you should spend more time in the water because you are going to meet some incredible people.
And that's it. I mean, we always try to leave on a note. Nico nailed it. You know, get out on the water and just open it up. But I would say, look, these sports, kite surfing, foiling, anything foiling related, there's some wonderful people out there. And like Gwen said, the community, just go see somebody, ask questions, talk to them on the beach. It'll open your brain up and realize that there's a lot more to life and you can really enjoy things. And that's the goal of us, is to hopefully kind of give you that kick, that step to have your best life and really enjoy it, because we only do this once. So enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Our friend Adam from Florida just commented. It's his second day wing foiling. So awesome job, Adam.
Adam, congratulations.
Everybody, like, go show him some support. We are all in it together and all learning. So the more we share our experience, the more it's helping everybody. And it's day 2. It's never easy. Nobody is thinking that it's easy on day 2. So don't think you are the only one struggling. We all struggle, especially on day 2.
And my only last little advice, Adam, would be if day 3 you don't foil, it's okay. It happens. It'll come back. Anyhow, Nico, thank you so much for your time. Gwen, of course, it's always great to see you. You guys have a great travel, safe travels in your next adventures. For everybody listening in, look, have the best Wednesday ever. Give somebody a hug, share a good message, tell them they look nice, whatever it may be. Surround yourself with positivity and pass it on. That's it.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and safe travels. And we're going to jump into our patron show.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.